Well, good morning from California, and I'm pleased to address the distinguished audience of the Moldovan Academy of Sciences and the international community with my views on the importance of basic science. My own career has been entirely devoted to basic science, and although I may not have had any particular practical application of my work, it turns out that when you make a basic discovery, there will always be some kind of useful, often clinical application. Let me give you two examples, one from my work and one even more importantly from the breakthroughs concerning genome editing. My laboratory has worked on the mechanism of protein secretion. That is where molecules that are supposed to be exported outside of the cell become packaged for transport within the cell. This is a process that is conserved evolutionarily over 2 billion years. And so when we established the mechanism of protein secretion in baker's yeast, it turned out to be conserved. The genes required for this process are conserved in the human genome. And as a result of that connection, the biotechnology industry decided to use yeast, baker's yeast, as a platform for the commercial scale production of clinically important proteins. Two in particular have had enormous market potential. One is the human insulin. Now 1/3 of the supply of human recombinant insulin is made in giant fermentation vats using the process that we described in yeast, secretion. In addition, the biotech company that developed the first product was able to manufacture a hepatitis B vaccine by producing the viral coat protein for the virus in a yeast cell and extracting from those yeast cells little particles that are not infectious, that have the surface antigen, and that now is the sole source of immunization for hepatitis B, which is very important in the world because 90% of liver cancer starts with an infection by hepatitis B. So if people are properly immunized, we can reduce the incidence of liver cancer tenfold. Now let me turn to an even more profound development that had its origins in basic science. Many of you know about the revolution in genome editing, where it's possible to make specific changes in the human genome and ultimately to correct and repair defective genes that give rise to disease. Most recently, it's been possible to cure people of sickle cell anemia by allowing the mutant form of hemoglobin to be replaced by a fetal form of hemoglobin. This was all done with the revolution that started many years ago with the discovery that bacteria, lowly bacteria, use a primitive immune system to evade infection by viruses that specialize in infecting bacteria. This has given rise to what many of you know about called CRISPR or CRISPR-Cas9. CRISPR is an enzyme that is made by bacteria. And the Cas9 approach is to use CRISPR, and Cas9 is the enzyme, to engineer a piece of nucleic acid, RNA, that can be targeted to any very special location, even in the human genome, to introduce changes, sometimes to repair defects. That technology, and this is the critical thing, that technology evolved over decades of basic research by microbiologists, including two scientists in Europe who were working at a yogurt company studying these bacteria. And it was only after all of that investment in basic science that the technological breakthrough was made by my colleague Jennifer Doudna here at the University of California, Berkeley, for which she and Emmanuel Charpentier, France, shared the Nobel Prize 2 years ago. Now, let me also conclude with what's important in addition to examples such as I've given you is it's important for every country to invest in a basic science infrastructure because the students that we train in basic sciences very often go on to become the entrepreneurs and the scientists who work at startup companies to develop their ideas to turn into commercial products. We in the United States have enjoyed a tremendous growth in the pharmaceutical industry, precisely because of that connection between basic science and industrial application. And so I would urge this for every country in the world to recognize the importance of an investment in basic science for their own industrial development. Thank you and good luck.